Hey everybody, this is JD here from the Comic Core channel, and we're going to be doing this live, and I'm here with Mark Bagley himself. If you don't know who Mark Bagley is, Lethal Protector 1 for all you Venom fans, and of course Carnage, ASM 361. He's one of the top Spider-Man artists for the entire era from...
One of?
The top?
There you go.
There you go, that's Mark 101 right there. So Mark, tell me a little bit about what's your favorite thing you've ever done in comics.
As a series, probably an ongoing thing, obviously Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, my dream was to break into comics, and my goal was, I'd have known I'd have made it when I was doing Amazing Spider-Man. So when I got that gig, that was like a kid's dream come true for me. I guess my dreams are kind of small, but that's what it was.
Nice. And was that the Jim Shooter was the editor in
Yeah,
charge?
Jim Shooter was the editor at the time, and Fingeroth was my direct editor. And I took over after Eric Larson. Yeah.
Right, after that whole Image thing. So tell me, what got you started into comics?
I just fell in love with them, man. My dad, we were coming back from Hawaii. I'm an Army brat, and we were driving across the Southwest in summertime with no air conditioning, and Dad pulled in this place and got warm Dr. Peppers and some comics, which I'd never seen. I was like 8, and I've got 5 brothers, including a twin who've never read comics. I mean, they read them then, but never got into comics. My twin brother Mike didn't know who Thor was at the end of the Avengers movie. He's like, so at the end of the movie, the guy with the hammer, he goes home. Like, Jesus, God, Mike. This is my twin brother. So that was my life growing up. But I just fell in love with him, and just the idea of the storytelling and all that.
I always remember the first comics that I got. Do you remember the first ones that you actually handheld? Was it?
The first one I remember reading was a Superboy comic. I don't know the numbers because I don't really give a shit. But it was the one where they made a famous plastic model of it like 40 years ago. It's him, Superboy, fighting a Kryptonian dragon. Okay. And that was the cover. And so it's that issue. You can Google it and find it.
Are you kidding? Anybody who's going to watch this, get about 10 people that'll tell you this. This is all comic book fans that know every number. Now. I'm
sure.
like, yeah. I mean, there are people that I thought I knew a lot, and then I met these guys. So, yeah. They'll tell me exactly what it is. They'll probably send it to you too.
Don't. Thank God I'm not on social. I got a Facebook page which I've never been to, so my daughter handles it. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So biggest influences as an artist from just flat out.
Yeah, growing up in comics, obviously, probably Gil Kane and John Buscema were my top 2 favorites.
Drink, he said Buscema. That's a joke with everybody. I'm biggest
Is it Buscema?
It's not,
Yeah.
He
Is
said
it
it
Buscema?
Right. He said it right, and that's how I know I'm right.
Yes, because I've hung out with John.
Yes, and I see. This is why we're here.
I can drop some names. Kirby later, just for the dynamics of it. But I really love their use of anatomy and their use of. I mean, John was like a genius. Who else? Joe Kubert.
One of my favorite
amazing
period of it's funny you mention these guys. They were all. I'm a big Atlas fan, Marvel Atlas. So there's books like Crime Fighter and Lawbreakers Always Lose, which are. John is in his early 20s, and so is Gil Kane, and so is all these guys. And I ended up buying those books and looking at the artwork. And I don't think it's safe for me to say somebody here that if an artist works with a creator long enough, the product becomes so much better. John's first work was amazing, but you could tell he didn't have the right anchor until he got later on. When he started working with Palmer, everything changed. Is that pretty
John
much?
Also, I mean, he really came into his own when he started actually working, quote, the Marvel way. I mean, his first few issues on Avengers were so different than his, after about 5 issues, because basically Stan sat him down with Jack Kirby, and Jack says, this is how you do it, for the dynamics and for the Marvel, and John just took
action,
yeah, exactly, all that stuff, framing sequences and stuff like that. John was always, he was a great craftsman early on, but when it came to that sort of dynamic storytelling, he obviously learned it really quick because he was great at it. Yeah.
I always tell people about the Buscema stuff is I have things from the 40s that he did all the way up to, one of my favorite covers is Tales of Suspense 3. It's a red cover. It's just got there and all the people there, but the inking was great. But the best part when I say is watch him evolve through Avengers 41 all the way through when he gets on the Silver Surfer, when he takes over Jack's Silver Surfer.
Oh my God, yeah.
And there's nothing I've ever seen like it.
When the Silver Surfer came out, it was 25 cents. It was like double size, which is 25 cents. This
1968? Yes,
so I was 11. So I was 11. I couldn't tell you the dates. I was 11. I actually borrowed the 25 cents from my older brother Bill. I promised I'd do his chores for a week.
Just to go get that issue.
To go get that issue. Yeah. So
It's
Back in
simple.
the Depression era, guys. Yeah.
Well, I used to tell everybody here they don't. When I was in New York, why I have a lot of newsstand issues of your books, and this is true, is because I used to use subway tokens were a dollar, and so it was a comic book at that time. And all I had to do was walk an extra 6 blocks, and I would get, my mom would make sure I get the subway token or the bus token in New York City. I'd just take the long way, walk home, and I'd be, Mom, I'm going to be late today, and I would never use the subway token. I could hand it to the newsstand guy, and he'd give me a comic. He'd trade it for a comic, and that's how I ended up with my most of that run from
You traded on
'88
the
to
black market at a young age, huh?
that's the best way to do it. I think
Exactly,
at that
yeah.
time that's what we did.
Good, good, good.
So, of all the characters you've created or drawn, obviously, you tell me which. Obviously, Spider-Man.
Mhm.
Um, when I don't know who approached you about drawing Carnage the first time.
Oh, I was on Amazing Spider-Man, and it was Michelini, and I don't know who came up with the idea for the story arc. I think it was probably Michelini. Got to remember this was 25 years ago.
Right.
And they just, back then it was phone calls back and forth, no email or anything. So it was like, hey, and I got the plot, and it's this guy's. We want him to reference Venom. He's like the symbiote's like the kid, but he's crazier and just more out of control, which gave me the idea for like tendrils flying off him and that sort of thing. Actually, the first sketch I did of him, saying I actually still have, might be worth some money, was of basically it's Carnage, whose first name was going to be Chaos, and we couldn't use it. And Carnage is a better name anyway. But the red started here and streamed out from his chest, down his legs, down his arms. And I got a quick note back from Marvel. Says, no, we can't do that. It looks like a shotgun blast to the chest. So I had to swap it around for the tendrils.
And when Venom got his first series ever, Lethal Protector, they went to you. I think that's the honor where when Venom is very popular now. He's done a movie. You have the young gun Donny Cates writing his series, which is an incredible read. And you have Ryan Stegman drawing it. But they always pay an homage to the Lethal Protector, as you put the green slime on him and everything else. Well, Todd did that. That was a Todd thing.
Todd did some of that. I mean, some of the stuff I did with Venom, I actually swiped from Adam Kubert. He had Venom in some, I forget what they called the stories, but it was Ghost Rider, and he did a couple of covers. He had one I specifically remember going, holy shit, I wish I'd have thought of that. Where Venom's hanging upside down and the drool's running up his face. And I said, yeah. So that, I'm always, kind of aping influences from what's going on around me and that sort of thing. So.
So Ultimate Spider-Man, Venom, Lethal Protector, Amazing Spider-Man. You see your books all over the place. People are always negotiating and buying your books and everything else. What is the one thing that you want everybody to know right now about your career in the industry? What's your favorite thing you love the most?
I'm shocked by it. God, there's so many other people out there way better than I ever will be or ever was that aren't in the industry anymore. And it's a matter of luck. It's a matter of maybe discipline, because, by God, if I'm not going to be more talented than somebody else, I'll outwork anybody, because I still put in probably 60 hours a week, but I still love what I do. I've had real jobs. I put a skill saw in my thigh and got 90 stitches. I've fallen off of roofs doing construction, and, a bad day for me at my desk, when I'm not feeling it, would be a great day for like 90% of the people in the world. The guys are out there really working, and whether it's slinging garbage or cooking or whatever, or doing what you're doing,
Right.
know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I said, it's a small dream, but it's a really good dream way to live,
Well, that's us here from Comic Core. This is Mark Bagley. This was a very heartfelt interview and one of my favorites I've ever done. Thank you, Mark, for your time.
Glad to do it.
Thank you very much.
Go away.
Bye-bye.